Okay, now, hey, Jamal, I want to pronounce your last name right because I don't want to get into a fight, you know what I mean, where I know I'll lose, you know what I mean? So please tell me your last name.
Charlo.
Jamal Charlo is on the, so please tell me your last name.
Charlo.
Jamal Charlo is on the.
Earth to Keith Thurman Jr. Come in, Keith Thurman Jr. This guy's got you believing he's going to fight at the beginning of the year. And I told you, he wasn't going to fight in May. He wasn't going to fight in August, October, December. And now he's got you thinking he's going to fight Josecito Lopez. And everybody's going to buy their tickets. And then Keith's not going to fight. He's got you fooled. Duke Oden, he's got you fooled. I want to give a shout out to Malachi Arroyo. Okay. It may be Malaquias. If none of those names are right, I apologize, my friend. But I want to give a shout out. Also want to shout out J.W. Evans, 1987. I want to shout out Trey W. the third. Also want to shout out King Twin. Also Will Magic Man. And lastly, I want to shout out Sheldon Vassell or Vassell. These are some new subscribers since October of this year. I just want to give a shout out to each of you. Where do I want to start here? Okay. Jamal Charlo takes on Willie Monroe Jr. Let's start with the schedule. Okay, that's December 22nd, New York. And Jermell Charlo takes on Tony Superbad Harrison. That's Saturday, December 22nd, 8 o'clock p.m. on Fox. That starts the premiere Fox series. So, Young Maul, 27-0, 21 knockouts. He'll defend his WBC interim middleweight title, whatever that is, against Willie Monroe Jr., who's 23 wins, 3 losses, 6 knockouts. While Jermell Charlo, 31-0, 15 knockouts, he'll make the 4th defense of his WBC super welterweight or junior middleweight title against Tony Harrison, 27 wins, 2 losses, 21 knockouts. Also, Dominic, I should say, Brazil, 19-1, right? 17 knockouts. He's going to battle Carlos Negron, 20 wins, 1 loss, 16 knockouts. And he was a member of the Puerto Rican boxing team in the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. And Brazil was an Olympic guy also. I'm okay with this matchup. All right. I won't call it a duck, a mismatch, or anything like that. I'm all right with this one. It's a risk for Brazil. I mean, he still is in line for the Wilder fight, which he'll probably get if Deontay wins. So we'll see. If Willie Monroe is on his game, I think he'll give young Maul trouble. Most people think it'll go a few rounds and Charlo's going to knock this guy clean out. But if Monroe is on, I'm telling you, it'll go more than a few rounds because he's tricky, and I could see him frustrating Jamal a little bit in this fight. And if he's really on, then we'll see. For Jermell, he better be on his game more than he was against Vanis Martirosyan, John Jackson, and most recently Austin Trout. If he's not, Tony Harrison might have something waiting for him. Now with Jermell, he'll have a bad fight and then 2 or 3 good ones, and then a bad fight and then 2 or 3 good ones. So his last fight wasn't great against Austin Trout. He won a split. Was it a majority? Majority or split decision? Can't remember. So we'll see. All right. Next up, you got the IBF super middleweight champion Jose Uzcategui, who's 28 wins, 2 losses, 23 knockouts, taking on Caleb Plant, challenger, 17-0, 10 knockouts. That's on a Sunday, January 13th, 8 o'clock p.m., Fox Sports 1. Now, I'm not doing these in order, so this is an okay matchup. Plant, he has this style. Excuse my voice. He has this, oh boy. He has this back foot style that is the type of style to give Uzcategui or Uzcategui fits, but I'm just not sure he's that dude to do it. I'm okay with this matchup. If you fight on your back foot, I think it's a style that I just don't know if Plant never plants his foot and steps into his punch. It's just everything's off the back foot. Eventually, you got to throw some offense. You got to take a step forward and dig into that canvas and throw something. And Plant just, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he'll have a little more than he's shown, and if he does, that's the type of style you can give Uzcategui fits with. So we'll see. Next up, Keith Thurman, 28-0, 22 knockouts versus Josecito Lopez, 36 wins, 7 losses, 19 knockouts. That's Saturday, January 26th on Fox. Not Fox Sports 1, but Fox from Barclays Center. So hopefully they'll have a backup opponent for Lopez. Thurman, he still has a belt, right? WBA, I think. So I look at this fight as a mismatch and a duck in my book. I'll leave it at that. Also that evening, Adam Kaunacki, 18-0, 14 knockouts. He's going to step into the ring against Gerald Washington, 19 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 12 knockouts. I won't call it a duck. It has the potential for being a mismatch. I think it's a solid opponent, but they're looking at it as a showcase for Kaunacki. Think of a Polish George Foreman. A lot of power, not any kind of hand speed whatsoever. And just a big guy that just gets you out of there. Gerald Washington, I mean, we know the MO on this guy. Starts out pretty good, gets tired, starts to fade, and you can get him out of there. So, we'll see. Next up, Leo Santa Cruz. And it's actually Leo and not Leo, but you know how I am with words and pronunciations and all that other stuff. So Leo Santa Cruz, 35 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 19 knockouts. Versus Miguel Flores, 23 wins, 2 losses, 11 knockouts. That's Saturday, February 16th. That's on Fox. So this is starting to look like it's going to be a monthly series on Fox. And then they'll squeeze in some Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays on Fox Sports 1. Santa Cruz versus Flores. This goes down as a duck. But he and Gary Russell Jr., who isn't even on the map, are ducking each other. I don't care how it sounds from one side or how it doesn't sound from the other. It's a duck. It's time for those two to square off. Boy, my voice is... I should have drank some tea or something before I did this. Next up is Omar Figueroa Jr., 27 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw, 19 knockouts. Faces former title challenger John Molina Jr., 30 wins, 7 losses, 24 knockouts. Both of these guys are undisciplined outside of the ring. Both haven't fought since 2017. I want to call this a mismatch, but I know one thing. You want to watch this fight because it will be a war for as long as it lasts. I guarantee you that. Anthony Durrell, 32-1-1, 24 knockouts. Versus Avni Yildirim, 21 wins, 1 loss. That's February 23rd, 10 o'clock p.m. Fox Sports 1. I think this is a bit of a mismatch. No, this is a mismatch. I think Durrell's going to pepper this guy and get him out before the midway point of the fight. I think he's too much. He's a different class. Yeah, I mean, if it goes past 6, if it goes past 4, I'd be shocked. Call this a mismatch. Sean Porter, 29 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 17 knockouts. He defends his, what did he get from Garcia? WBC. I don't think it's any of that interim stuff. Against Yordenis Ugas. 23 wins, 3 losses, 11 knockouts. That's Saturday, March 9th, 8 o'clock p.m., regular Fox. So once again, January, February, March, we got Fox. This is a fight that can go different ways. Ugas lost to 3 guys with lesser talent than Porter, as a boxer. The problem is Sean Porter isn't a boxer. He's a free safety. He's out there playing football. And you just, I don't know. It depends. The difference in this fight may be that they ordered it in Las Vegas, which is Sean Porter's adopted hometown, so you know how that goes. Sunday, here's a Sunday again. Sunday, March 24th, 2019, 8 o'clock p.m. on Fox Sports 1. We got Lamont Peterson, 35 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 17 knockouts, versus Sergey Lipinets, 14 wins, 1 loss, 10 knockouts. That's from MGM National Harbor. This might be the best fight out of these premier fights, as far as the matchup being even. However, if I'm Team Lipinets, I make sure I win rounds convincingly, and make sure Joe Cooper and Mustafa Amin are nowhere within 300 miles of the arena. If they are, you're not going to have a shot, Lipinets. Just ask Amir Khan. If they're far away, you might have a shot. But Lamont's going to fight you hard, fighting in that DMV area, that DC. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, my voice is, boy, man. Sorry, folks. Caleb Truex, 30 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws, 19 knockouts, versus Peter Quillen, 34 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 23 knockouts. Saturday, April 13th, 2019 at 10 o'clock p.m. And I'm not sure what network that's going to be on. Let's see if we skipped to April. That might be Fox Sports 1. I won't call this a duck. I'm going to lean toward a mismatch. Here's the question. Are we going to get the Jermaine Taylor version of Caleb Truex or the James DeGale version? Either of those versions might do well enough to make this interesting. What we don't want is the Anthony Durrell version of Caleb Truex. Yes, this is going to be on Fox Sports 1. I'm not going to call it a duck. I'm going to lean toward a mismatch. But maybe, since Truex, I believe, I want to say he's from the Minnesota area, and this fight card is going to be in Minneapolis. I mean, as much as I'm talking about Truex, what Peter Quillen's going to show up? So we'll see. Next up, Danny Garcia, 34 wins, 2 losses, 20 knockouts, versus Adrian Granados, 20 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws, 14 knockouts. Saturday, April 20th, 8 o'clock p.m., Fox. In this one, you got one guy who wants to sit on the back foot a bit. The other guy who's going to pressure, and pressure you. So this one's interesting. I'm not going to call it a duck or a mismatch. I just think Garcia probably wanted something else, but these guys can't overrule what their uncle wants. You understand? And one thing I noticed about this fight, hey, this fight has a date, but guess what? No venue. So it has a date, but no venue. You see, Deontay? That's not an excuse now, is it? They know they're going to fight. They know the date. They don't know the venue. But they're all signed up for it. You see how that works? Next up, Errol Spence Jr., 24-0, 21 knockouts versus Mikey Garcia, 39-0, 30 knockouts. Saturday, March 16th, 2019. Fox Sports pay-per-view. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. And it's for Spence's IBF welterweight title. I'm probably going to get mad, but let's talk about Spence Jr. versus Garcia. Every video I watch or person I talk to says something along the lines of, you got to take your hats off to Garcia. He's taking a big risk. He's daring to be great. You just got to give it up to him. Big cojones or whatever, like whatever, however, whatever they want to say. He's daring to be great. Okay, if you say so. If he's taking a risk by going up 2 weight classes, okay, I'll give you that. But it's not the biggest risk he could take in doing so. The biggest risk for Mikey Garcia would have been fighting Vasily Lomachenko. And here's why. If Mikey Garcia fought Vasily and lost, where would he go from there? It's a tough question to answer, right? Where would he go? If he lost to Vasily, where do you go next, Mikey? However, if he loses to Errol Spence Jr., it's no big deal. He was supposed to lose. Most people don't expect him to win. He can keep going on with his career. Lose to Vasily, and now what? So as much of a risk fighting Spence Jr. is, it's the easy way out for both of them. He's not going to fight Lomachenko, win or lose. Garcia is going to look at that $40 million offer from DAZN and jump ship. Or he's going to do some other weird move, but not Lomachenko. And do you know why? Because that is the real risky move. That's why. Just like Crawford to Spence. I'll take this Garcia fight instead. And Spence, you know, I've almost just about had it with boxing. Spence Jr. has come up with every excuse in the book for not fighting Terrence Crawford. First, he told him to get a title and then come see him. Okay, so Crawford stepped up to welterweight, and in his first fight, he took on champion Jeff Horn and won. Now he has a belt, EJ. So what say you? Then you talk about this other side of the street crap. Okay, first you tell him to get a belt. He gets a belt. He said, come see me when you get a belt. So he came to see you. Now it's this other side of the street stuff. Then, after that excuse got old, then you talk about it's going to be hard because Bob Arum won't negotiate. Dude, I'll remind you that Bob Arum took Alan Heyman to court just so he could get his fighters to fight against premier boxing fighters. Remember that? Of course you do. You just choose to have amnesia. And Spence decided to talk about, oh, I'm my own promoter. I'm a free agent. So, let me get this right now. So, if Arum and ESPN came to you with a $10 million offer to fight Crawford, plus shares on the back end, since you are your own promoter, as you say, and since you are a free agent, don't you owe it to yourself to take the best deal available? But instead, you talk about loyalty to Showtime. What loyalty? You're a free agent, remember? You're your own promoter. Take the best fight and the best deal, arguably, in all of boxing. But no. Then you say you have to clean up your side of the block first by fighting Porter and Thurman. Why? You won't get as big a payday as you would if you face Crawford. And then once all those 5 or 6 excuses got old, now it's changed to asking Crawford, well, why don't you take the easier route and fight Porter? First of all, A, who says Porter is the easier route? And B, the answer to your question is because Crawford is ready to accept the challenge. He didn't sidestep like Canelo and make an old man wait until he got older and still lose both fights, by the way. He didn't delay the fight like Jacobs did, the old man, or like Billy Joe Saunders and totally bitched out. No. He accomplished everything he could at 140 pounds, became undisputed, and then went up to chase the big boys. And here's the funny part. He could have called out or chased Thurman or Porter or Garcia. But he chose you, the guy those guys won't fight. And what do? You fight Mikey Garcia. And people try to justify it by saying to me, well, Mikey called him out. What the heck does that mean? I mean, did Floyd Jr. fight Bernard Hopkins when Hopkins called him out? Did he fight Roy Jones Jr.? Give me a break. I'm sick of this shit. I mean, there are all-time greats who risked their lives for pennies on the dollar that these guys get today. And they're rolling over in their grave. And we're crying about networks and other sides of the street. I need to walk away from this, I swear. And then, after those 6, 7, 8, I don't know how many excuses the guy made, then he goes on to call Crawford too little. He said he's too light in the ass. Said this last week. Once again, this guy is a hypocrite. You are fighting a lightweight. Okay? That's what, 135-pounder, folks. So, is Mikey Garcia too small, EJ? Is Mikey Garcia too light in the ass? I mean, come on, man. This guy's a sucker. And you can't it's like people are still coming to this guy's defense. Anyway, and speaking about risking lives, this is 2018. All right, and you need to listen to this. I'd wager at least 75%, at least 75% of the top guys in boxing are on performance boosting drugs. And in 2018, if you don't want to have stringent testing in a sport where lives are lost, then you are a dummy. And boxing doesn't give a shit, and I'm sorry, I don't like to curse like that, but boxing doesn't give a shit about drug testing. Trust me. Then one of its two biggest stars gets caught, and what's the end result? He signs a $365 million contract. Okay? It might have been a conspiracy. They wanted Golovkin to get old. And by failing the test, it added more age and more time to Golovkin. He fights him and gets a decision and then moves to the zone. I mean, all this stuff just happened like boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's almost as if this thing was staged in a done deal maybe like a year ago. I mean, it just happened too quickly. So what's a failed test that I can explain away with tainted meat compared to making this guy old and then collecting $365 million for passing go? I mean, it's like, so anyway, we move. Let's jump back to Spence. So we move to this Spence Jr. versus Garcia thing, and according to Victor Conti, who works with Margaret Goodman, who spearheads VADA for boxing, there was a push for VADA testing, but the A side, meaning Spence Jr., denied it. They declined it. Didn't want it. Now, I'm not going to talk about the numerous YouTube videos that speculate Spence Jr. is juicing. But this is a bad look for him and for boxing. An extremely bad look. Because there's floating for a few years now speculation from premier boxing lovers that this guy is, I mean, they're just suspicious of this guy. So for you to decline VADA, man, and it's also bad look for Garcia and his handlers. Hypothetically, with Garcia being the smaller guy, Errol Spence Jr. could literally kill Mikey Garcia. He could kill him with no drug testing. I mean, will boxing, if that happened, would boxing do something then? Now that a blue chip guy who's dead and not some miscellaneous 49-year-old or however old that guy was, now will boxing care? Now will boxing do something if a blue chipper gets killed in the ring? Give me a break. Like I said, at least 75% of these guys are juicing. And when I say these guys, I'm talking about most of them who are big names that you've heard of. Okay, I'll leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there. Just follow the pattern. And you can kind of figure out who's who. Now, Tommy Loeffler has no reason to lie. he reported VADA wanted to test Golovkin after the fight with Saul Alvarez. And so Golovkin was down with it, of course. But then Tommy told VADA to make sure they tested Alvarez. He then stated VADA tested G, but then canceled the drug test for Nello. All right, so you test G, but don't test Nello, a guy who failed not one, but 2 drug tests in his previous fight, or after his previous fight leading to this one, which got it pushed back, which made this guy X amount of months older. So this is the post-fight test Loeffler was referring to, which can be considered equally as important as any test beforehand, especially with a world-class guy who failed 2 tests. Not 1, but 2. This is huge news. I mean, it should be front page for weeks on websites, in sports news, and it should be investigated. But do you think the Nevada State Athletic Commission will investigate this matter? What do you think? The WBC clean boxing program, first of all, is a lottery. They may test a boxer multiple times leading up to a fight, or they may not test a guy at all. Okay? It's a lotto. It's a raffle. The WBC clean boxing program is also a conflict of interest. I think we all agree that sanctioning bodies in boxing are crooked and have long been crooked for at least 40, 45 years, at least. Right? You got to give me that one, okay? We all can agree on that. So why would I trust something called the WBC Clean Boxing Program? Okay, this is the same WBC that created a smokescreen pretending it hated Canelo during and after the first fight, but immediately ran to his defense and said he was clean when he failed not 1, but 2 drug tests for clenbuterol. Yes, the accusation Tommy Loeffler appears on the surface to be making is against VADA, but it's the WBC version of VADA testing, in my opinion, that's on the hook. And what we have to do is we have to open the book and see the bylaws on how testing works in this program. You know, who has the discretion to cancel a test? Who determines the dates and times, and who gets what protocol? But let's keep this thing under wraps, because there's $365 million at stake. No, the media should be blowing the roof off of this, and it's not. Oh, they'll print a story and then move on to the next story, next topic. Let's talk about Broner Pacquiao, because there's a press conference the same day that this story breaks. And then the next day, we'll talk about Broner and Pacquiao going to the LA leg of their press tour. And then this story gets buried in the sand. No. Where is Thomas Hauser when you need him? Jaron Ennis looked good on Friday night. I knew he was going to rip Serrano up, but Serrano was more game than I expected. And please, that same evening, please tell me you saw the Maurice Hooker versus Alex Saucedo fight on ESPN. I wouldn't consider that a duck. I wouldn't consider it a mismatch. That was a real fight on ESPN. Two undefeated guys who can both fight. Solid matchup. Fantastic action. Fantastic result. That's boxing, folks. If you didn't see it, watch for the replay. Those boys were punching. There are plenty, and I mean plenty, of seats for Fury versus Wilder. They better do well on pay-per-view, because if they don't, you might be waiting until 2021 to see AJ versus Wilder. And therein lies the problem. Because if Wilder wins and this pay-per-view is poor, negotiations are going to be near impossible, because Eddie Hearn will use the numbers against Deontay Wilder to suggest he isn't worth what he thinks he is. Now, sometimes the gate isn't an indication of how a pay-per-view will do, but Wilder can't sell out a 21,000 seat arena with Fury as his dance partner. Yet AJ does 90,000 people a couple of times in his career. And PBC lovers tried to slight AJ because he only sold 80,000 tickets for Povetkin in Wembley Stadium and not 90,000. I'm hoping at this point you're laughing at this thought process by people. But he didn't sell 90,000. He only in quotes, right? Only sold 80,000. But I got to the bottom of it. The only tickets that weren't sold were tickets that Wembley Stadium held itself as part of coach packages that they sell. Okay? The coach tickets are required as part of the deal to reserve Wembley Stadium. And Wembley banked on selling them, but people didn't want to come to Wembley by coach. They didn't want to buy a package. They wanted to kind of arrange things with their friends, so that they can kind of do things together. So it had nothing to do with AJ's selling power. But let's just pretend it did. We're talking about 80,000 sold tickets versus a guy who has sold 8,000 seats out of 21,000 seats at a venue with 2 weeks to go. I'm telling you, if Fury doesn't win, we are in for some nonsense from Team Wilder, because Hearn's going to be like, well, we offered you 15 million. Your biggest payday was 2.2. We offered you 15. Your biggest payday was 2.2. And you can't sell in your own country against a big name like Fury. So you better take this 12.5 we originally offered. The price goes down from there. But I think he'll be fair and still say, look, I'll give you a flat 20. But he'll, if this, I'm telling you, people keep talking about what Wilder should get. He never made more than 2.2 million. Okay? Now, early indications are this fight is going to bust financially. I wish I lived in LA, because I'm seeing seats that are lower level risers for less than $200 on Vivid Seats last week. Then I got a press release saying that they've released new tickets. Okay, this press release came today. And I'll post it before Thursday on thefightjournal.com. You can look at the press release, and the title of the story you'll see on the website is the title you'll see on the website. It'll say more tickets released at Staples Center for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. And what the way they spun it was they just released some very competitively, very cheaply priced tickets between, what is it, $75 and $175 or something like that. No, those tickets were there, and what they're doing now is they're doing markdowns. But it's like, oh, we just released. No, if you go to Vivid Seats, trust me, I've been saying this for the past couple of videos that my voice was on. There have been a couple conference call videos since then, and I'll say it again. If you go to AXS.com or VividSeats.com and you pull the fight up, you're going to see a lot of white seats. Those are the ones that sold, and you're going to see a lot in a different color, like blue. Those are still available. Trust me. The thing is a little less than halfway sold. 8,000 out of 21. So let's say, okay, so I looked at that a couple of days ago. So let's say they're at 10,000 sold right now. But you're going to see a lot of blue. And then you'll get markdowns. You'll get comp. They'll paper the house. They'll add some media to fill in the seats to make it look good. Trust me. And everything that's sold, check this out. Everything that's sold is from the nosebleed to the second level down from the nosebleed. You got plenty in the 100 level, lower level risers. You got, and my God, you got plenty on the floor. So maybe they'll market it to Jack Nicholson or some of the Lakers and Clippers and try to sell some of them. But those tickets will be marked down. If you plan on going to that fight, my advice to you is to wait. Not to buy now, to wait, because I'm telling you, the price is dropping. And but people talk about what Wilder should get, but he's never made more than 2.2 million. So when that offer was 15 million for him, people act like that wasn't fair. That was well over his market value. And let me do a comparison. When Floyd Mayweather Jr. talked about people he fought winning the Mayweather sweepstakes, people fell for that. Oh, well, Marcus Maidana, he won the Mayweather sweepstakes, and then you see Marcus Maidana made 1.5 million in their first fight. Mayweather sweepstakes, huh? Floyd Jr. made somewhere between 32 and 40 million. Marcos, 1.5 million. But you hit the Mayweather sweepstakes, right? But nobody had a problem with that back then. So why is it a problem with AJ offering 15 million? Or 12 million for that matter? Trust me, Wilder wins this fight, and it's going to be a hard negotiation. I like Fury to win the fight if it's on the up and up. Give me Tyson Fury. Let me close it out talking about the other schedule other than PBC. Other fights coming up. Vasily Lomachenko versus Jose Pedraza. Pedraza is going to give Vasily a good fight. Partly because of his style. The fact that he's rangy. Very awkward. And also, Vasily is coming off shoulder surgery. And I think it's actually going to be a good scrap. It's a unification. Definitely not a duck or a mismatch. Dimitri Bivol takes on Jean Pascal at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City this Saturday. I'll be there. I think it's a mismatch at this point, and Pascal's career, but I've heard through the grapevine that he's trained like a madman for this fight. And we'll see. I mean, we only have a small body of work for Bivol. This will only be his 15th pro fight. But you got to go with him here. Although I think Pascal is going to fight him hard. One thing that is going to be really good is the rematch between Gilberto Ramirez and Jesse Hart on December 14th. This time, I think somebody gets stopped. You definitely neither a duck nor a mismatch for this one. You got to see this one. It'll be on ESPN Plus. I wish it was on ESPN for more people to see. You got Jeff Horn versus Anthony Mundine. Why do I want to call this an even fight? No complaints about this one. At both points in their career, I think it's okay. Even though Horn should be going after another title shot or trying to get one. But I think there's money in this one for him, so I'm not mad at him. December 1st, you got Adonis Stevenson versus Alexander Vosdik. It's a good fight. I'm not sure Vosdik is that guy that he thinks he is. Stevenson's getting older. It's tough to call this one. By the way, did you know Adonis Stevenson's real name is Stevenson Adonis? Look it up. We got Rene Alvarado versus Carlos Morales on Facebook Watch. Got to check the date on that. Is that December 1st also? But Facebook Watch has been having some good fights. So check it out. It's free to watch it on Facebook. We got Chocolatito, February 8th. That's the same night as the Lomachenko fight. Facing Pedro Guevara. That's the HBO series finale. So check it out. Hopefully the time will be different and you'll get to see at least his fight and the Lomachenko fight. Hopefully they don't come on at the same time, but that's boxing, folks. You got the return of Kell Brook. You got Saul Alvarez. You got Canelo versus Fielding. Not sure what to think about that one. David versus Goliath. You got the Jackal, Carl Frampton, taking on Josh Warrington. I like the Jackal on that one. You got, here's a good one, Dillian White versus Derek Chisora 2. Arguably a fight of the year. Hopefully this one will be just as good. Is that the Zone? I think that's the Zone. And we got Bryant Jennings versus Oscar Rivas. Bryant Jennings is in a little bit of a, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens after this fight, but we'll see. My voice is gone. I would re-record this, but we up to like 50-something minutes, so I don't think I want to go through this again. Sorry about that. Get the voice together. Have a nice holiday, everybody. See you in Atlantic City for Bivol versus Pascal. Excuse me. I'm out.